it is Commissioner Euler's turn to do the pledge and invocation. So please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to gather together. May all our decisions today be godly and wise. Lord, be with all the families who've lost loved ones, especially to Matt and his family. May you bring them comfort and peace. Lord, I pray for protection for our nation and our state. Give our leaders wisdom and integrity to lead us in the right direction. Father God, keep our first responders safe in every situation. Be with our students, teachers, and administrators to keep them safe as well. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Had a chance to look through the minutes. Any changes or additions or corrections to the minutes? I'll stand to approve as presented. At this time, we have a public comment. This is where we have allow 30 minutes for anybody that would like to come forward and talk to the commission about anything that's not on the agenda at this time. We give you 5 minutes, and when you come forward, please state your name for the record. All right. Next item.
Mayor and Commissioners, items 7A through F is all reports from various departments. I do believe that was Chief Bailey's a live presentation or the annual report, or just the inclusion of the annual report in the document?
I think it's just the inclusion.
Okay, all right, yeah. It's written that way, so just double checking. Have meetings of note listed there. The
Matt, have you nailed down on meetings of note that the date with Mike Cundiff yet? Has that been determined?
Yeah, that was the 11th.
Well, I know, I just didn't know.
Yes,
Mike,
I did not put it in the agenda, meeting of notes. I'll get it, make sure it's on there.
but that does work for Mike also?
Yes.
Okay, I
yes.
just want to make sure if that was the date, and I had it saved in mind. All right, thank you.
And just for the notes to include both of those under meetings of note, those are, a reminder, February
23rd.
11th for the workshop,
For the
and then
workshop,
23rd for the
goal
goal
setting.
setting.
Yes.
Or 22nd, 3rd.
23rd. February 11th and February 23rd.
Okay.
Okay, yep, I had both of those, thank you.
All right, with that, I think we're ready for item 9A, the appropriation ordinance, if approved, to be number 2523-2021A.
Mayor, I move to approve appropriation ordinance number 2523-2021A.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second by Commissioner Dick. Any discussion on that? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That passed.
It's okay, we'll skip over item 10A. It's got a scheduled 1:30 time. That would bring us to 10B. The governing body is asked to consider and approve an ordinance rezoning property from agriculture district to single-family residential district and single-family residential district with a planned unit development for property generally located at 2912 East Spruce Street, Garden City. And if approved, it would be ordinance number 2891-2021. Melissa?
Matt,
Yes?
I believe it would be 2890.
Oh, yeah, we've got a flip-flop. Yeah. If approved, it would be ordinance number 2890.
Okay. Hello.
Afternoon. The applicant Cornerstone Professional Service on behalf of the developer Jet Properties, Jared Torres, is requesting to rezone his property generally located at 2019 East Spruce Street from agricultural district to the R1 single family residential and R1 single family residential with a planned unit development. The property will be developed for single family homes. The property is currently vacant and has been so for many years. And the property has remained zoned agricultural until it has been ready to be developed. The developer is requesting to develop the northern portion of this property with an R1 single-family residential PUD development. That will contain 18 lots and will better help them utilize the property. Part of the PUD requirements that he has requested for his development is that the lot size requirements will be minimum lot size allowed is 3,700 square feet with lot width minimum set at 50 feet and lot depth minimum set at 60 feet. The setback requirements for the front yard, the dwelling shall be 10 feet and garage is 18 feet, and side yard setbacks at 3.5 feet and the rear yard setback at 10 feet. Parking requirements, the lot widths less than 60 feet shall only be required to provide 2 off-street parking spaces. 1 parking space shall be behind the front building line. Lot widths over 60 feet will be required to provide the 4 off-street parking spaces like we require in other residential zoning districts. And again, 2 spaces should be located behind the front building line. Using the PUD in conjunction with the R1 single-family residential zoning district requirements provides the developer the opportunity to maximize his investment. The PUD allows for a creative solution to develop intricate areas or land infill areas that have surrounding zoning. The remainder of the development is to be zoned R-1 single-family residential, and that will contain 44 lots. The entire development as a whole will consist of 62 total lots for single-family homes. The proposed use for the property as single-family residential is consistent with the area's general development. The comprehensive plan stipulates the future land use be used residential with the ability to support single-family homes, townhomes, and condominiums. The PUD portion of the development will be a higher density to other R1 zoning districts due to the smaller lot sizes. No townhomes or condominiums will be allowed within the development. These will only be developed as single-family detached homes. And within the R1 single-family zoning area of the development, it will be consistent with in density and character to neighboring developments such as East Cambridge. The Planning Commission made its recommendation and stated their findings according to criteria section 27.040. Below is the complete list. Upon reviewing the criteria in 27.040, the Planning Commission recommended approval of this rezoning request on September 19th in 2019. There were a total of 7 members present, with 5 members voting yay and 2 members voting nay. And we did attach the minutes to that case. There is no fiscal note. This is only a rezoning. And the alternatives before you, you may approve the rezone ordinance or you may not approve the rezone ordinance. Staff recommends alternative 1, the governing body approve the rezone ordinance.
So, Melissa, I have a question. Is it going to be a rollout of, like, are they going to have alleys, or are they going to just do the I can't remember what those things are called.
There'll be poly carts. There are no alleys within the development.
Okay. And then sidewalks will be
Installed.
also.
Entertain a motion for this item.
I move that we approve ordinance 2890-2021.
Second.
Commissioner Dick made the motion to approve ordinance 2890-2021. Commissioner Unruh seconded the motion. Any discussion on this item? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. That item passed.
Thank you, Melissa. Item 10C, the governing body is asked to consider and approve an ordinance combining the recreation system of the Garden City Recreation Commission with the Parks and Recreation Department of the city to include appointment of officers and employees, the transfer of property, and the creation of a Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. And I will turn this over to Randy.
Thank you. This is the next step in the statutory process to combine the Garden City Recreation Commission recreation system with the newly developed City Parks and Recreation Department. And on 2 dates in November, the city published a notice of intent to combine the RC recreation system with the city's Parks and Recreation Department. No protest was filed pursuant to that notice of intent. So we're proceeding with the adoption of this ordinance. And as Mr. Allen indicated,
This ordinance does a few things. Number one, it combines the GCRC recreation system with the city's Parks and Recreation Department, probably most importantly. Next, it provides for the transfer at some point of all GCRC property to the city's Parks and Recreation Department, and that process has begun and is fairly well accomplished at this point. The officers and employees of the Recreation Commission have been subsequently employed by the city, and I believe all Recreation Commission employees are now employed by the city, or at least were at a date in December. The ordinance also creates a city Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. The first members of that board are the current board members of the Recreation Commission, and they will serve in that capacity until such time as their terms at this time are over. Certainly, they could apply for continued membership if that's what they chose to do, and the commission at that time would decide whether those members should continue in their positions. Those are 4-year terms. The Recreation Advisory Board will have certain statutory rights and obligations, I would say obligations mostly, and authority, and basically any issues that are going to be dealing with parks or recreation facilities, any other major issues including acquisition of land or facilities, will need to go before that advisory board, and then that advisory board will review the proposal and make recommendations to the governing body to consider at times in the future. And finally, the ordinance provides for the transfer of current funds held by the Recreation Commission to the city, and those funds would be put into, I believe, 2 separate funds maintained by the city for operation of the city's Park and Recreation Department. I don't know if Aaron has anything additional, but this is the next step, and things are moving along, and we had a conference with the city's insurance thinking of the term, James Charlesworth.
Yeah.
I'll just use his
Consultant,
name.
yeah.
Yeah, consultant, that's it, last week, and went over the transfer of property from the city, or to the city from the Recreation Commission. I think everything's on board so that we have insurance coverage as we move forward.
And the ordinance number on this one, Matt?
If approved, it would be 2891-2021.
Entertain a motion for
I
this
move-
item.
Commissioner Ortiz, I'll move to accept ordinance number 2891
There's been a motion to
dash
approve.
2021. Sorry,
There's been a motion to approve ordinance number 2891-2021 by Commissioner Ortiz. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Euler made the second. Any discussion on that item?
No,
None?
so I just wanted clarification. So Matt, when people want to use the rec facilities, or do they so-call the Recreation Commission, or do they call the city? Someone was asking me if they were going to use some of your facilities, where do they contact and all those kind of things. So I just want to clarify that.
Same place they would have before.
Okay, so that nothing changes that way?
Yeah, the service end of this to the external customer is exactly what it was before.
And I do want to state, I had an organization contact me and concerned about how they want to make sure that they are still partnering with the Rec Commission and the city. I mean, I know that nothing's really changed. I said in the past, I know the Rec Commission has been very willing to partner with other, especially organizations that deal with physical activity and fitness. And so I assured them that nothing would change, and hopefully that would actually enhance, and we'd be able to do an enhanced partnership. So I just wanted to make sure.
My expectation is that it would change, it would be more frequent, and
Yeah,
and
that's
that
good.
the expectations would raise, and hopefully that would be on both parties.
Yep.
So, or any other party that is traditionally, would maybe be more motivated to do so.
That's great. That's all my questions, Mayor.
Any other discussion? None being all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passed.
Thank you, and thank you to the Recreation Commission Board.
Yeah.
And
It's a lot.
it was a lot to work through the logistics, and their staff. We're excited to have those employees on board, but those volunteers that served on that board for in past years and the current ones, have done a lot of work recently, and all of that was necessary to get to the point where we are today, so we surely appreciate their work. Item 12A, the governing body is asked to consider and approve the cooperative agreement between the Garden City Police Department and the Finney County Sheriff's Office to provide for the creation of a computer forensic examiner position for the joint benefit of the GCPD and Finney County Sheriff's Office. Chief?
Thank you, Matt. As you recall, back on June 18th of 2019, a long time ago, McGrath Consultant Group completed the organizational study of the police department and presented the findings to the governing body. In the 104 recommendations, 4 of those involved the implementation of a digital forensic unit or computer forensic examiner to include combining the police department and the sheriff's resources. On July 21, 2020, the governing body approved the fiscal year 2021 budget for the city of Garden City. In the budget that was approved included funding to pay for half of the salary and benefits for the employment of a computer forensic examiner, with the cost being shared by the sheriff's office. City Attorney Randy Griselle was provided the information and drafted the cooperative agreement, which is attached. Sheriff Basque and I have been in discussions, and he's reviewed and has indicated that he is accepted of the terms outlined in the cooperative agreement. The alternatives are for the governing body may approve and sign the cooperative agreement, or 2, the governing body may reject the cooperative agreement. Staff recommends that alternative 1 to approve and sign the cooperative agreement. There's a little over $57,000 for the salary and benefits for hiring the computer forensic examiner position. And again, the sheriff has agreed to sign the cooperative agreement and would be responsible for the other half of the payment. And the reimbursement is outlined in the cooperative agreement.
Mayor, I would move that we approve the ordinance here, or I'm sorry, the recommendation of the cooperative agreement between the Garden City Police Department and the Finney County Sheriff's Department.
There's been a motion to approve the cooperative agreement. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dick. Any discussion on this item? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. That item passed.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Great work, yeah.
There's no other business items other than the one with the 1:30 public hearing, so consent agenda would be items 1 through 2. So the appropriate motion, if you don't want to pull anything off, would be to approve consent agenda items C1 through C2.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda items 1 and 2.
There's been a motion by Commissioner Euler. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Ortiz made the second. Any discussion to that item? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passed.
2 choices. I believe we could take care of the executive session in 10 minutes. We could go into executive session and come back out at 1:30 for the public hearing if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Okay. And the specific purpose, Randy, would be?
It's the exception to the open meetings law that pertains to the personnel matters of non-elected personnel. So you should use that particular motion. And the reason would be a discussion of performance of an employee.
And
Those included in the executive session would be myself, City Manager Matt Allen, and Director of Human Resources Allison Medina. And I would say that 11 minutes
11 minutes.
until 1:30. If we need to extend after the hearing at 1:30, we can do that.
Okay. I move that the City Commission go into executive session at this time for the purpose of discussing matters of non-elected personnel and their contractual obligations, because if this matter were discussed in open session, it might evade the privacy of those discussed, and the City Commission reconvene in open session in the City Commission chambers at 1:30 with the reason of personnel performance with Matt Allen, Randy Griselle, and Allison Medina in the executive session. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Dick. Any discussion? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passed. back in open session, and we do have a 1:30 hearing, so we'll go to the 1:30 hearing.
And no binding action was taken.
Right, no binding action was taken. Thank you.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a 1:30 public hearing for the consideration to adopt the development plan and establish the Rural Housing Incentive District for Sunflower Crossing Edition by ordinance. That's ordinance number, if approved, ordinance 2892-2021.
I'll open the public hearing.
Melissa?
Mayor and Commissioners, we bring before you an approval for an ordinance to establish the Sunflower Crossing RHID. This is the last step that the developer needs to take before you for the RHID process. Sunflower Crossing Edition is generally located at 2912 East Spruce Street. This development will consist of 62 total lots and intends to be single-family homes. The development on the north side will have smaller lots, and the intention of providing homes around the $190,000 price point. For the remaining portion of the development towards the south, those homes will be intended to be at the price point around $290,000. They intended to be sold to individual homeowners. The development estimates homes will be built over the next 11 years, with 45% of the homes being built within the first 4 years of the development. According to our latest chat report, to meet our housing needs, we need to build over 128 housing units per year over the next 8 years. Based on the current RHID feasibility analysis from other existing approved RHIDs, we predicted an estimated 163 houses be built in 2020. However, we only issued 40 certificates of occupancies, which met our housing needs only by 33%. Therefore, according to our chat study and the existing rate of housing development within the city, it shows a need for housing to be built. If the ordinance is adopted, taxing entities such as the county, USD 457, and the community colleges have 30 days to pass a resolution that does not support this RHID development. If no such resolutions are passed, the ordinance shall be in effect. There isn't a change to the fiscal note. The developer is using private financing to fund the eligible cost of the RHID, and we will reimburse the property taxes to the developer over the life of the project, which is 15 years. The amount of property tax distributions cannot exceed is actually $2,244,255. The alternatives before you, you may approve the ordinance or you may not approve the ordinance. Staff recommends alternative 1, the governing body approve the ordinance.
Anybody in the public have any comment?
Melissa, just to clarify, and does it show up in the ordinance or an attachment, a reference attachment in the ordinance, the maximum amount of reimbursement?
That is in the development agreement.
Okay, and you say the correct number is?
$2,244,255. And that's listed in exhibit.
Is it correct in the
E.
exhibit?
It is.
Okay.
On page 6.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners have any questions?
No, I think it's a great addition to have this, so.
Please step forward and state your name.
I'm Diane Hunsberger, my husband Terry Hunsberger, and we own the property adjacent to this on the west and the north. Does this change our designation? That's our property right there.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't affect that at all, it's
No.
just in the green area.
Right.
Okay,
And earlier in the meeting, we actually rezoned that, approved the rezoning from agricultural to residential.
For the part inside.
For that part
the-
inside that green line, so.
and then construction is to begin where?
On that, from what we understand, it'll start there where the arrow is and start moving down
Okay,
into that area, because how it's set
I
up.
think it shows up better on that other agenda item.
Yeah, it'll show up better. Because it'll connect to Spruce
Oh,
Street.
the plat, yeah. Right there.
He'll show you. So it'll connect to Spruce Street, and then they'll work their way, and that gray area that's shaded is the first part of construction.
okay,
And your property's over there where it says the plat of, yeah.
right. One of our major concerns is the drainage off of that property onto ours.
Okay.
So Melissa can go into more detail, but any development, residential, commercial, or industrial, is required to submit a stormwater plan that shows that the design, the plat, the survey work, and all that accounts for the drainage of water on the property, either into the city's stormwater infrastructure or it retains it on the property itself. And you can go into more detail, Melissa, about that.
I guess we see what the drainage issues are to the east there between those houses and what those property owners have dealt with and are still dealing with. And even though it's supposed to drain, the issues that it doesn't drain where it's supposed to go. And we don't want to deal with that. That's our major concern right there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input.
Matt, you are correct. All the drainage does need to be contained on this property. These lots will drain towards the street, so they'll all drain towards the street and into the stormwater system. And that's how it'll be developed.
And so with our new stormwater drainage project, so then this is all gonna be diverted toward that project, right? So that's where we spent the dollars to enlarge that, or no?
I think this is
Still-
further
This is
south
south.
than that.
Further south than that?
Yeah.
Any other questions? So entertain a motion on this item.
Why don't you go ahead and close the public
Oh,
hearing?
I'll close the public hearing. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Entertain a motion on this item at this time. There's no other discussion by the commission.
I move that we approve ordinance 2892-2021.
Second.
Commissioner Dick made the motion to approve ordinance 2892-2021. Commissioner Unruh seconded the motion. Any other discussion on that item? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That item passed. Thank you.
Is the desire of the commission to have a little bit more time on the executive session? We can do that after the commission reports? Would that be preferred? We
We
don't
can do that.
anticipate any action after the executive session, so if you wanted to do the commission reports, then continue the executive session, we could do that, and the Channel 8 broadcast could shut down.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Let's do that. Commissioner Euler, you're up first.
All right. Well, it was a wonderful pre-meeting today to learn about, the upcoming airport terminal, and I thought HNTB did just a wonderful job as far as presenting and, really helping us to visualize what it's going to look like and just the capacity, and so appreciative of the future of what it could look like. I just was so impressed, and it kind of made me think about the public input. That was something that Rochelle talked a lot about and something that they talked a lot about, but it's also something that we make sure happens as well. And so think about our city Facebook page and how that's just a great tool for people to use to stay up on what's happening. And so I would just encourage people, if they don't follow the city's Facebook page, to do so. I mean, it's also a great way to know what advisory boards have open positions, and so I just think that's just a great tool to use. Then also, just congratulations. As a former Recreation Commission board member, it really was quite impressive to be able to combine this and form the city Parks and Recreation Department. And so kudos to everybody who was a part of that. That's all I have.
Commissioner Dick?
Same thing, like Commissioner Euler said, the presentation at the pre-meeting about the new airport terminal is amazing, and that's one of those centerpieces to our community that I think we'll be able to share with the community as a large Western Kansas kind of thing. So that's really exciting to see, and I think that's basically all I have right now, so I'll keep it short.
Commissioner
I'm sorry. That was shocking. So, I was able to attend the county commission meeting, and they have reorganized. I just want to say publicly congratulations to Dave Jones, the new chairman, and then Lon Pishney, the new vice chair. So it wasn't a lot of big hubbubaloo, and they didn't have cake. I was disappointed, but it was a really good meeting. I was able to see the list of all of the, and I know Melinda was there. We'll get a list of everything that they paid through the Sparks grants, and that's interesting, and I do have some questions on that. The terminal presentation, phenomenal. I'm excited. The look and the feel, you feel like big city, and so the thing that's exciting is what a really neat gateway, another gateway into our city, and just welcoming people here. I also was excited about the combination of the Rec Commission and the City of Garden City, just overall as a city, moving health and wellness forward. I love our trails, so if you've not had a chance to be on the trails lately, we are blessed as a city to have that information, have that opportunity and that ability to get out there and exercise, and so, and it's always nice to see people on that. I know there's some really great things happening in our city. With that, I'm excited about what's happening in Garden City, and so I'm looking forward to 2021.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Yeah, same here with exercising. I mean, I was out this whole past week because we've had such nice weather other than the wind, but if you're a competitive fighter and like to work out in that kind of weather, hey, I was one of them, so I wasn't walking straight up, it was more at a slant, but yes, we are blessed with a lot of trails and options that we have here in Garden City, so thanks to the city for those, and county, and all of their progress and work that they've been doing, so I just like to give thanks on that, so that's it.
And I'll just wrap up saying, talking about health and wellness, that next week will be the 19th annual Health Awareness Week in Garden City next week, so all the different types of wellness will be promoted next week in our community, so that's all I've got for my comments. And again, great pre-meeting on direction of our airport and things happening in our community. On that,
So we'll make a motion to extend the executive session for another period of time. It's for the same purpose and for the same reasons as before.
I'll make the motion that we extend the executive session for another
Until 2 p.m.?
Until 2 o'clock.
Okay.
With the same personnel. Go ahead to name all the personnel. With Matt Allen, Randy Grizel, and Ally Medina for the reason of personal performance.
Second. Sorry, second.
Commissioner Unruh, second it.
Was asleep.
Any discussion on that item?
I have a question.
Yes.
Did you say till 2 p.m.?
Till 2 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? None being, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.